Okay, so once again, I'm gonna go ahead and skip over the intro because I know you guys on YouTube love that. But yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go in depth more over things that I talked about in the last video, things that I couldn't explain as well. I'm gonna add in this video, and I'm gonna do a few examples of a few mouth movements because I know that will be pretty hard for most people if they've never ever done like basic Blendshape making. It was hard for me my first time, so don't worry, you're not alone. In order to actually use the full facial tracking that we're gonna be doing today, you actually need to have a tracking compatible phone or tablet. So that means for iPhone users, that would be iPhone X and above. And for Android users, you would need another third-party app called mouthFunnel that allows you to have full facial tracking, even though it doesn't have that ARKit tracking that the iPhone does. It can still work, but you have those two options for phones. For softwares that actually show the model for VTubing, you have VNyan, Warudo, Luppet, and Vseeface. Vseeface is good for beginners. Warudo and VNyan kind of work the same. Luppet is more advanced and it costs, I think, $30, but those are your options if you actually want to try out the full facial tracking once we're finished with it. But yeah, so we're gonna go back to VRoid Studio for a moment. I wanted to explain something real quick. In the export as VRM option, there are two options that I recommend you having wholeheartedly. Please don't take these off. If they are on for some reason, just make sure that they're on. I did mention that this option would affect something. I think that's mostly in Unity if you try to use Tool, because I remember it's been a couple years since I tried to do anything like that. But I remember reading up on Tool, and I remember seeing somewhere that delete transparent meshes was required for something. I don't know what it was. I cannot find it now, but I know that it was important for something that had to do with Tool. So that's why I recommended in the last video, hey, don't use Tool if you're going to use this, because I don't know if it will work, honestly. So I recommend having these two options on, delete transparent meshes, and I also recommend having combined hair mesh on, because if you don't have them on, it will make Blendshape making harder in a sense. Mostly this option, not as much this option. This is more for like if you want to do funny things, like for example, I have a toggle that my chat can literally snatch my wig off if they please whenever they want in stream, stuff like that. It will be much harder to do it if that was off, and I'll show you why. So we have our model, our base model Kyle in Blender once again, but this version of Kyle does not have the options toggled on like I recommended. So we're gonna see what happens when they're not on. First thing you'll notice is that if you go up here to the scene collection and you press the drop down, you will see a lot more parts of the body than you're used to. Why? Because those are all the parts of the hair. Every strand that you made for your model will be a separate mesh, a separate part that you can edit in Blender. You can combine them to make it one very quickly, but you know, just have it on so you don't have to do that in the first place, so you don't forget that that's there. You don't need to like have every hair separated unless you're doing like advanced movements with the hair. I'm not sure what that would be, but yeah, just have it on. And also the main thing I wanted to point out is that when you have the delete transparent option off, you will notice that if you come up here to viewport shading, aka it just shows you the surface area of all the meshes that you have in Blender. If you press that button and you notice how, even though, go back to the texture version of that, you see that the eyeline starts right here. If you go back to viewport shading, notice how there's a whole different big surface area, even though that's the eyeline. And then to further explain, you just click on his face. If I were to go into edit mode, look how big that surface area is just for his eyeline. You would have to edit all of that just to transform that one little part of his face, this part. So that's why I recommend having that on, because see how gigantic the parts are, and the eyebrows as well. You can see it right there. You want to have that on so you can avoid that. We're going to go back to our guide. You should have this page open at all times because they have really helpful tips on the sides as well for like certain movements. For example, mouth left, even though it will show you a picture as well as a 3D render, and you can see, hey, I just need to move the mouth left. That is true, but in the information tab right here, it will also say to rotate the tongue. Would you have known that if you just saw that picture right here? Probably not. So that's why I recommend having this guide open, because it shows you a reference and it also explains what parts of the face has to be moved in this part. Make sure to read this part of the tab to see what needs to be moved and what should not be moved, because certain things, even though they seem obvious, they're really not. So just have this open. In my last video, I mentioned that you should have the expressions in the expression editor as close as possible to what you desire. The reason why I set this is because it makes less work for you in Blender, so that if you have, let's say, you have again a really expressive detailed model and you try to close it, it can't close, but you get it close enough, you can fix that in Blender. And you can also use these that are already made and make them into the shape keys that are required. So we're going to go ahead and import our model again. If you do not know how to import the VRoid model into Blender, you should look at my last video because I explained all the controls in that last video as well. All the basics of shape key making, Blendshape making. So I'm not going to go over that again really in this video to save time, but we're just going to have the model ready. And we're going to skip most of the basic movements and we're going to do more advanced movements. So we're going to do a quick blinking tutorial so I can show you the use of duplicating the shape keys. Again, we're going to need to separate the face into different parts. So we're going to select all, make sure it's all yellow, that means it's all selected. Right key, separate by material, then hide the parts that you don't want as well. We just have his beautiful face. So what we're going to do is press on the eyeline. We're going to do this one, eye blink left. And what I mean by using pre-existing shape keys to make new blend shapes is we're just going to copy and paste to make the same blend shape. Even though we already have the blinking animation in the avatar already, as shown here, it's not going to show up in the tracking. If you were to try to do all the blend shapes and think, oh, I already have a blink animation, I don't have to do that, and you put it into Vseeface or whatever, you're not going to be able to blink. You're going to be staring at the camera like this. We don't want that. So we need to copy and paste the already made blend shapes to make the new one that we need. What we're going to do is we're going to go to object mode. We're going to click on the eyeline and we're going to go to the data tab to make a new shape key, but we're going to find the shape key that is already for the blinking. It's going to be named eyeCloseLeft. We're going to put it all the way to 1 and we're going to press the duplicate, aka new shape from mix, and then we're going to go back to the window and we're going to press and copy the name. By the way, I did not mention this in the last video as well. All names are case sensitive. They need to be the exact same. If you combine the materials after you finish making all the shape keys for their respective materials and you're trying to combine them into their own respective blend shapes at the end, if 1 or 2 shape keys are misspelled, you're not gonna have a good time. I'm just letting you know. So make sure to do it case sensitive, make sure that there's no space after, and then that's good. And now we can go back and put the original to 0. And there you go. We have the first shape key that's required for the blinking on the left side, and we're going to do that for all the shape keys that are affected by that blend shape. So the skin would be next. We're going to go ahead and find the blinking. Again, put it all the way up to 1. Drop down, duplicate it, paste the name, and then we're going to go back to the original. Remember to reset the values when you're done duplicating them so they don't add on to each other. And there you go, you have the shape key that's required for the eye blinking left. And you can go ahead, if you want to flip it over again, leave it all the way up to 1. New shape key for mix, back to 0 on the original, copy and paste, but change the name to the other side, aka the right in this case, and then mirror shape key. And now it's on the other side. By the way, there will be some times where if you try to flip it, the mesh will look weird or it will glitch out. If that happens, just try this option instead, mirror shape key topology. That should usually fix it. But there you go. And now we can do the same thing for the eyeline. Make sure it's all the way at 1. New shape key for mix. Put it back to 0 on the original. Put it to 1 on the new one we duplicated. Add the name. And don't forget to flip it as well. And there you go. Now we have both sides done and we have the required shape key for the blinking, and it will show up on the air tracking. So for any movement that is required and you know that there is already a default expression for that, you can just duplicate it like that and just make sure that the name is respective to the movement that you're trying to do. So now we're going to do eye squint left, and you see how in the picture she's just squinting her eye. So that's easy. We already have a base for that, kinda. We can just do it like that. And then all we need to do is just edit the bottom as well. So when you want to make an expression from a base that you have already, aka we want to make a squint using the eye blink that we have, just move it to the value that you like, and then when you get that movement that you like, just save it as its own blend shape by duplicating it, and then put it back to 0, and then the duplicated blend shape will only go up to the point that you had before. And now you can edit it further. And now he's squinting a bit. Go back to the guide, copy and paste. And now you have the squinting motion using a shape key that you already had. And you can go ahead and flip it to the other side and change the name by changing the side and then flipping it. And now you have both sides done with the squint. And we're gonna do the same thing for the skin. So we're gonna go ahead and use the same reference, which was the eye blink left, and just move it down a bit to where it's not showing. You can press anywhere on the screen to make sure that it's not showing. That's good. I'm gonna get it close as possible. And then we're going to new shape key from mix with that as the base, put it back to 0, hold the new duplicated shape key to the max value, then copy and paste the name that we're trying to do now and edit it because we have a little bit on the bottom showing. That is basically it. If you want to do the other side, remember to keep the value of the part that you're trying to duplicate all the way up. New shape key for mix, put it back to 0, max out the value of the new one that you just duplicated, add the name again, but flip it to the other side, actually flip it with the mirror shape key, and now we have both sides, and now he's squinting. So again, all you need to do is just go to the guide, see what it says, and just follow along with the image and the description on the right. There are some blend shapes that you can't make using that duplication method that I just showed you because it does have the default expression for the eye wide, but it's only for both sides. It's not like a separate left-right thing. So you need to do that on your own. Even though, by the way, it will show both sides, and that's not correct. Just do the side that it's talking about, because as you can see right here, it's only affecting that side of the face. The only reason that it's affecting both sides is because you can't make, like you can, kinda, but you can't make only one side of your eye open too much on ARKit tracking. There you go. Now his eyes are both wide as if he's been scarred for life. And you can just do that with all the eye movements. Just make a blink one if you need to, or make use of the default ones that are in the model to make new ones if you can. To make your life easier, just try to cheat as much as you can. You don't have to do a lot of work if you don't really need to. That's how you make most of the eye shapes. So for the mouth shapes, this will be very long. This will be a very long part because it's more tedious in my opinion. First thing to remember, if you have a neutral expression for your VRoid model, this will be a little bit more harder. What I mean is, mostly for the mouth, if you have anything affecting the mouth that's not in its default position, this will be default if it's like slightly open. But I know most people don't want to have their mouth open because it's not as nice looking, so they usually will close it like that, at least. If you have anything on that's affecting it to not look like the default expression of it having it open like that, you will need to do one extra step. If you don't have that on, if you have it like this, you can skip that extra step. So I'm gonna tell you what the extra step is. The extra step is whenever you make a shape key for any mouth expression, you need to have this on as the base. Why? If you try to make a shape key without having this on, it will look weird. It won't display as how you edited the model. So let's do a simple mouth movement together and I can show you why you need to have that on. Good example, we're gonna do mouthFunnel. So it's like a little kissy motion and it has like the lips puckering out a little bit, but they're still open. It's like stretching it out as well, as you can see on the bottom. So we're gonna do that real quick. And we're gonna do it, but we're not gonna have this on as I recommended. I'm gonna show you why you need to have that on by doing it the wrong way. As I said before, try to cheat as much as possible. It looks kind of like a U shape already. So what we can do is we can go find the default U shape right here, and we can kind of edit it to be open like that. And then we're gonna start our base from that. So we're gonna make a new shape key from that. and we're gonna go back, reset it, and then we're going to try to edit it. I'm gonna speed this part up. By the way, to scale is press S, a circle will pop up and you can just make any part a selection smaller. To select a whole rim, hold Alt and then press any dot on that rim and it will select all of it. Now I have my little funnel shape and it looks good, right? It looks great. If I were doing this normally, I would just copy and paste the name as usual, but it's not going to look like that because my model has something affecting it. It has a neutral blend shape affecting it. You can see it right here as well. If you go into the VRM tab, that's right here. If you go to the blend shape proxy, it has a neutral shape. So watch what happens when you import it into any tracking software. Oh, there we go. That's what it's gonna look like. Even though it's supposed to look like that, because I have a neutral shape, it's going to do that instead. So that's why I recommend having the neutral thing on as a basis and then adding onto that. So what I mean is, what you need to do instead is always have this on, and if you're doing like a new shape key from Mix, if you're pressing that button, turn it off so that you can duplicate it without adding this onto it, because that's going to be there by default. You need to see how it is in Blender without adding it into any shape key. So just have it on, and we're going to make a new shape key from scratch the right way for this motion. So I'm going to name this error. So we're going to go ahead and make this the actual mouth funnel, and from that we can see how to fix it. Another trick I learned is that you can go into sculpt mode. Usually if you try to edit it like that, unfortunately it will revert back to the original shape. But you can kind of cheat a little bit to get the shape you want by going into sculpt mode, and it will remain how it is. It'll still let you see the shape key that is affecting the face, and it will also let you edit it at the same time. I recommend anything like mix size differences, do that in edit mode, and then if you want to open the mouth or stretch it out, go into sculpt mode. What I mean is, I'm going to make it smaller real quick. Try not to affect the nose too much, and if you have like a lower lip, try to move it with the lip as well. Move it a little bit. And then go to sculpt mode. Getting there a little bit, it's getting there. It will take a little bit. Go into 3D mode and try to fix it up as well from there so that it doesn't look uncanny valley. Just make sure it looks good at all angles. Again, if you have a neutral expression on your avatar, you'll have to make your mouth shape keys look more dramatized so that when it combines with the neutral shape, it looks normal. That's the best I could get it. But yeah, basically just switch from edit mode to object mode, go in and scale it to how you want using S, and then just move it around the dots as close as possible, then go to sculpt mode to actually kind of clean it up. This is only for people that have a neutral expression on their avatars. If your avatar has their mouth open already by default, like a little bit, you don't need to do this. Okay, let's do a couple of mouth shapes together. So we're going to do jaw open, and we're going to do mouth left, mouth right. We're going to start with jaw open, and for this, as you can see, her whole mouth opens, so we can use the mouth movement ah as the base, and you see her jaw move as well. You can move the jaw to make it more realistic looking. I think it looks nice when beauty models have that feature. We're going to go ahead and use a shape key and add on to it. So where is the mouth A? Because as you can see, it looks kind of like what we're going for already, but we just need to make it more open. And remember, unfortunately, if you have a neutral shape, it won't look like this. It will actually look like this. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, it looks good. And then the mouth a little bit more down. You're gonna want it a little bit more longer than you like, because you want the jaw to open. See, there we go. And now you have your jaw open shape. Now we have to do the same thing with the teeth and the tongue. We're gonna go ahead and go to the mouth, the inner mouth part, and we're going to find the blueprint, the ah opening sound right here, and use that and add on to it. So we're gonna put it all the way max because we need to move that down anyway. So put it all the way max and then press new shape key mix to duplicate it. Put that back to 0, the original. Copy and paste the name, jaw open, and now we're going to edit the mouth. Quick tips: the teeth are actually like two, I think there's 2 pieces to the teeth on both sides for each. We need to do a couple things. There are 3 things we have to move. First thing is the inner mouth, this part. We need to stretch it longer, a little bit wider, because I can see the inside of the face still right here. And we need to move the tongue down, and we need to move the teeth down. So what we can do is first select all. We're gonna scale it. Press S then Z to scale it on the Z axis. And we're just gonna scale it a little bit. And then we're gonna move it down just a tiny bit. And then let's see how it looks. Yeah, that looks good. And now we're going to edit the inner mouth, like the back of your mouth. We're gonna edit that to be wider so that the back doesn't bleed through. Then we're gonna just stretch it out a little bit. Make sure the circle is not too wide. Stretch it out. Make it taller if you need to. Just make sure that it is covering the mouth. You're gonna see that little ring, that's the part of this. You can make the teeth a little bit wider to make it more natural if you like, because mine looks a little bit uncanny with how big his mouth actually is. Now the inside of the mouth is correctly on. So now we have that done. And if you don't like how the teeth move looks, again, you can just make sure to get both sides, the inside and the outside of the teeth. Try to get as much of the teeth selected as possible using shift. But for some reason, this thingy is kind of weird. There we go. And then just drag it down a bit more. If it truly bothers you, then there you go. Now we have a jaw open. Now we can revert that back to how it was. Now we're gonna make jaw left. So for this one, let's go and look what it needs. We need to move the entire jaw to the left, including the teeth. Jaw left, meaning that it's gonna move to this side. To the right, basically. We're gonna turn off the mirror tool, number 1. We're gonna press the middle of the jaw and we're just gonna bring it over. And let's move this side of the face as well, just a tiny bit. So now the jaw is moved over. Let's move this in so it looks more natural, not like one side of his face is expanding. Now we have the jaw left. So now we're gonna press, before I forget, this was on, let me turn it off real quick. Now we're gonna press new shape key from mix. Put that, max it out, the new one. Name it, but flip the name and then flip it over. So now we have, it didn't flip over correctly. It's broken. But as I said before, if there is a shape you try to make by flipping it over and it doesn't flip over properly, what you do is delete the shape key, duplicate it again, and use topology instead, and it should work. Now we have both sides, jaw left, jaw right. For the skin, now we need to move the inside of the mouth as well. So we're gonna hide that and we're gonna go to here, the inner mouth, and we're gonna make a new shape key. And all we need to do is just move the whole thing, everything, to the left and the right. And now you have the inner mouth moving according to the jaw, which is more natural. And then what you're gonna do is new shape key for mix, put it back to 0, the original, max it out to 1 for the duplicate, and just flip the name, and then flip the whole thing. And again, it broke, so we're gonna delete that. Do it again. and use the other tool instead, and then mirror topology. So now it should flip over correctly, and make sure to put the name but flipped. Now you have jawRight, jawLeft. Let's put this back to how it was as well. And that's how you make the jaw move. That's how you make the mouth move. That's how you make the mouth move according to if you have a neutral expression or not. Make use of the edit mode and make use of the scope mode to clean it up afterwards when you scale the mouth to how you like and move it to how you want. But yeah, that's basically it. Once you're finished with everything, make sure to go to this tab right here and remember to add the blend shapes, because even though you made them here, and even if you combine them all right here into one face, you still need to add the blend shapes into the model data so that the software can actually use it. You can just go ahead and go to the top left and export the model. It's kind of blocked by my avatar, but it'll say export and then just press VRM. I hope I was able to answer all the questions that you might have had from the last video, and if you have any more questions, you can leave a comment down below and I'll try my very best to answer. I'm not an expert, so if I can't answer your question, it's not malice, it's just I really don't know. It's a learning process. It will take time. For me, my fastest time is 3 hours, but it will vary depending on like the complexity of the model. Don't expect to get it the first time. It does take a lot of practice, but yeah, hopefully this helped people in the long run. My name was Sly. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far, and I hope you have a good morning, evening, and afternoon.